So in terms of last night's game plan, I made it very clear towards the end of the video that if the SPY breaks above the previous closing price, 602.50, and we spike to 603, if it drops back down to the previous closing price, it's likely going to reverse at the gap, react to support, and have a bullish overall trend day. With that being said, the SPY did end up having a bullish trend day. We did end up breaking above the previous closing price. We did end up bottoming, forming a higher floor at that previous closing price for the overall breakout and retest with the gap close reversal. In terms of Team Roar, I did end up recognizing that overall situation. As you can see right here in the pre-market, we currently have a floor above 602.50. As of now, I'll be watching for dip buys. Calls that open appears to be the play. As soon as the stock market opened, I ended up buying 604 out of money calls at 49 cents. 4 minutes later, I trimmed the exact peak. These went up nearly 100% in 4 single minutes. Then after I trimmed, I thought the calls were going to go in the money. So I decided to add once I noticed on the 1 minute chart that this previous resistance level was attempting to react to support. And then of course, as soon as I added, the calls started to drop and I ended up selling those for an overall small loss into the 40-cent range. With that being said, in terms of today, this was an absolute horrible day to be trading the SPY. If you just look at the overall price action, right, if you're buying further out of the money option contracts, we were literally only going like 1 point out of the money. With that being said, in terms of, this overall chart, this is not what we like trading. And we're buying further out of the money option contracts, basically moving in a 1 point range the entire day. Extremely stagnant, very, very slow, very, very choppy. To make money in a situation like this, you have to select the exact perfect strike and you have to time it perfectly, which is extremely difficult to do in market conditions where we're just chopping all day and moving in a very small, tight range. With that being said, when you are experiencing this, what's going to hurt you the most is if you overtrade and overexpose yourself to bigger position sizes. When the market's like this, you're rarely going to see me make a lot of trades. I did not overtrade today. I didn't do much at all. That was the main play that I did. Now, with that being said, another tip I want to give you is when the SPY is moving in very, very small, tight 1 to 2 point ranges, very, very stagnant, it's best to move over to QQQ. But in terms of QQQ, it doesn't have same dates, it doesn't have 0 date options that are expiring every single day like SPY. And it wasn't too long ago where SPY literally didn't have that situation where we had 0 dates every single day, right? But anyways, in terms of QQQ, I did check the option chain and we do have 0 date options expiring into tomorrow. So one shift I'm going to make heading into this week, if we continue to just maintain stagnant overall, I'm just going to be watching QQQ very, very closely. This is going to be a lot easier to trade when it has the 0 date options and when SPY is just trading in these very, very small brackets of 1 to 2 points. You're going to want to shift your attention over to QQQ. So with that being said, in terms of the game plan, this is going to be very simple. And make sure you stay till then. I have a bonus play for you. I'm going to be sharing with you one stock that's on my radar heading into tomorrow. But let's get into this, man. So we're going to start off with Triple Q. And then from there, we're going to go into SPY. My main focus heading into tomorrow is going to be on QQQ. So let's get straight into it, man. As you can see, the points are going to be a lot bigger. It's going to be a lot easier to trade this in a sense. And the contracts are fairly cheap as well. So this is what you're going to want to be focusing on when the market's slow and SPY is trading in very small, tiny brackets. It's going to be a lot easier to trade this. But like I said, man, you want to make sure that Triple Q has the 0 dates expiring. It doesn't always have the 0 dates expiring, not like unlike SPY. So anyways, we have the green bullish daily candlestick, red bearish candlestick, green bullish candlestick, and then we have the gap up, right? We have the green bullish candlestick, red bearish candlestick, green bullish candlestick. So the green, red, green daily chart pattern. And then the green gap up, right? So we have the green, red, green, green, red, green, gap up, gap up. What happens the next day? Well, in terms of what are the patterns that I'm seeing. Now, again, this is only if we are gapping up above the previous day highs. So if Triple Q in SPY is gapping up above the previous day highs, we're going to be looking to buy call options for a gap and go at higher resistance levels. In terms of those levels, if you want to be exact, you can look at the previous day highs. So in terms of, previous day highs, 516.26, based off this pattern, it's not even going to retest the previous day highs if we're gapping up above the previous day highs, right? So the main level would be towards pre-market resistance. You're going to want to be looking at pre-market resistance if we're having a nice gap up above the previous day highs, which would be 516.26. And if you're seeing SPY, if you're seeing triple Q break above that pre-market resistance, wait for it to drop back down towards that pre-market resistance, use the breakout and retest, buy the retest, 30-minute bullish candlestick confirmations, strong bullish closing day. So that's the first game plan. For that pattern to overall work, we need a gap up above the previous day highs. And then from there, you're going to look in the pre-market. You're going to identify the resistance levels to confirm the exact levels. And once you see we're starting to break above resistance, wait for it to drop back down towards that previous resistance in the pre-market, buy the dip, buy the retest. Another thing to note about this pattern is the low of day can potentially be directly towards market open. So you're going to want to get in fairly early on that overall situation for the gap and go. That's the first pattern that you need to be aware of. Now, in terms of if we are having a small gap up, opening up flat, or a small gap down, there's going to be a make or break support level. If the make or break support level reacts bullish, holds, we're not dropping under, it's going to be a bullish day, but nothing too crazy. If we crack under the make or break support level, react as a resistance, we're going to see a nice overall drop towards previous day lows. So in terms of, well, what's the overall level? The way I came up with this one, I compared this daily candlestick right here to this daily candlestick right here. And then you can see there's a small drop the next day, then a bullish day. So basically just measuring the overall moves along with looking at the 10-day, 30-minute chart. If we're having a small gap up, if we're opening up flat, if we're having a small gap down, this is the make or break level, 514.60. If we react as support and we start to hold and maintain that, it's going to be a bullish day where we're going to see a small break above the highs and then start to drop back down a little bit, right? If we break down and react to the resistance and we're going under 514, we spike back up to 514.65, form the lower highs, break down and retest previous support, turn into resistance, new lower highs, then we're going to start to see a nice drop and start to drop back down towards the previous day lows at 510.60. The previous closing price is at 509.74. That would be the only buy zone to buy call options if the QQQ is cracking under the 514 and forming lower highs at 514.60, right? For those of you who are interested in trading SPY, apply with what I just said. Very, very simple. And in terms of the level for SPY, it would be very simple. So apply those same exact patterns to triple Q. I looked at the daily chart. There's a lot of similarities as well from a technical view. The level on SPY, the make or break support level, would be 603.30. And then just apply everything I said about QQQ on the overall SPY. But like I said, man, I'm going to be laser focused on trading triple QQ, man, because in terms of, when I'm trading options, when I'm going further out of the money, I want to see some, I want to be able to buy, at least two strikes out typically, and I want it to be able to go deep in the money. I want to see some massive fucking moves. Like on triple QQQ, this went from 511 to 516. That's a massive fucking move. That's what I want to see, man. I could be buying those options very far out of the money, selling them deep in the money. But on SPY, man, the fucking 604 calls were dead the whole fucking day. They were 1 point out of the money. They were dead the entire fucking day. And they finally came back to life, but you had to time it near fucking perfect. Now, in terms of trend pattern recognition and why you should have been bullish, because like I said, we bought calls directly at the market fucking open. Today was an extremely difficult day to be trading. I didn't overtrade. This is not my type of price action, right? In terms of what I'm taking away from today, I'm just going to be focusing on QQQ in situations like this, but only when QQQ has those 0-day options, right? But anyways, man, I made it very clear in the overall game plan. If you stayed to the end, some people, they didn't watch till the end, so they didn't hear me talk about the bullish thesis. I started off the video mainly talking about the bearish thesis, right? But if you looked at the overall trend, I made it very clear. This was the level, 602.50. If we break above this and spiked to 603, and then in the pre-market, we spiked to fucking 603, I literally said that the previous closing price is reacting to support. Since we're breaking out, that's a breakout and retest, and that's a gap reversal. We had a gap to fill here at 602.55. It's going to have a gap close and go instead of reversing at that overall gap, right? Where it closes the gap and just keeps on going in the same direction it came from prior to filling the gap, which would be an uptrend in this situation. So if you just looked at the overall move, this was your previous support. We gapped down, we spiked back up, we broke above previous support, which could be a bullish situation. And then it is bullish if we're forming a floor at the previous support level, which was 602.50. Therefore, if we're forming a floor here, it says right here, we're going up to 603 to 603.30 to then break above for a bullish trend day. So to me, it was very clear since we broke above 603 and we had the pattern that I talked about all the time in my videos. If you go back and you watch the previous videos, I tell you this all the time. If SPY is at a key make or break level or at a key support level, and you see the green, red, green pattern forming, right? The green, red, green pattern forming, and it's forming a floor. You see this? This 30-minute candlestick is closing above the previous closing price. It's consolidating. It's forming a floor above the bullish level, and we're breaking out. That's all fucking reasons to be bullish. That's why I was buying SPY call options directly at the market open with anticipation that it was going to have a bullish trend day. And if you just looked, that same pattern was repeating all week. And I talk about this all the time. When it forms the green, red, green pattern, it tends to push higher. Green, red, green pattern tends to push higher. Next 30 minutes to an hour, green, red, green pattern tends to push higher. Green, red, green pattern tends to push fucking higher, right? Especially if you're seeing, previous resistance, 602.50 is now your floor. Green, red, green, bullish 30-minute candlestick confirmation. Next 30 minutes is going to be bullish. Buy calls on the opening of this, right? And then your previous resistance right here, 603.20. We're breaking above. Where's the new floor? Previous resistance to react to support. Green, red, green. Next 30 minutes is bullish. It's forming a higher fucking floor for hours above the previous fucking resistance, just like it did in the fucking pre-market. This is all reasons to be bullish, man. It's just the price action was so fucking shit. So, I mean, in terms of education and just breaking this down chart for you, this is why I swayed away from puts literally the entire day. In terms of this, man, this was fucking killer call out at 11:02 a.m., man. This was literally towards the exact lows. I said it's calls here. I didn't take the fucking play. Man, if someone took that play, that was literally the play of day. I said that at 11:02 a.m. 11:02 a.m. I said that at the exact low of day. That was the fucking play, man. 602.50 to 604, a decent quick 1.5 move. That was the play to buy SPY call options. I literally called it at the exact lows, but I didn't get in on the overall trade, man. And that was at 11 a.m., right? I'm telling you, I was seeing the green, red, green, and all of this fucking consolidation holding for hours above the previous closing price. To me, with my game plan, I told you, bulls are in control. If we spike to 603, and if we spike to 603, and we drop back down to the previous closing price, and we're holding, that's bullish buy fucking calls, man. So there should have been no confusion on that. So those are the reasons why I was bullish. Like I said, I swayed away from puts the entire day. But with that being said, man, it was just a fairly slow day. I mean, in terms of my personal trading, I really didn't do too much at all, man. I mean, it is a bummer that I didn't sell my entire position at the exact peak. I trimmed it at the exact peak, and I was looking overall bullish. I mean, later on throughout the day, we did end up pushing higher. So in terms of direction, I was right about direction. It's just, man, the fucking theta decay and the move was so fucking small. It wouldn't have mattered in terms of like where we were overall entering. Because the calls barely went in the fucking money, man. They went 30 cents in the money. I mean, my high of day prediction was right. Earlier in the day, I said the high of day was like going to be 604.40. So that was right as well. But yeah, man, in terms of just education and breaking that down for you, for those of you who watch, the recaps, you should have been well aware. The green, red, green, bullish 30-minute candlestick confirmation for a long time above the previous closing price is bullish. And then you have a break above previous resistance, and it's doing the same thing it's in the pre-market. Green, red, green, green, red, green, bullish breakout. So those are all reasons why you should have been bullish. But this was just not the day to be trading SPY. QQQ, on the other hand, this one, man, if you just got in directly at market fucking open, that would have been free fucking money. I mean, same with SPY, but you had to sell SPY fucking quick. I mean, QQQ, at least it held its fucking weight, man. SPY was such a fucking dud this morning. But yeah, man, with that being said, that's the game plan. In terms of the bonus stock that I have for you, this is going to be based off of a daily chart pattern. Let me pull it up for you. The ticker symbol is going to be CAVA. So based off the daily chart pattern in terms of this one, what I'm seeing is if we gap up, buy calls it open. So this is the pattern that I'm seeing, right? So I'm going to break this down here for you. As you can see, if you look at the daily chart, you're going to see we had some resistance. You had some resistance right here. So you had some resistance here on the daily chart at 131. And then CAVA started to break above the resistance, dropped back down. Once it retested that previous resistance, it started to react to support, break and retest, and it started to go bullish, right? And then in terms of new resistance levels, you're going to see right here, we have some resistance right here at this 141, right? Initially, it just cracked through, react bearish. Now we're starting to break out, retest, attempting to react bullish. So in terms of what I have to say about this one, I'm looking at a potential breakout and overall retest, but it has to do with the daily chart. The main reasoning behind this one is going to be that overall daily chart situation, right? So what I dislike is we're kind of trying to downtrend sideways. It could be bearish, but all I'm going to fucking say is if we gap up, right? So just look at this red bearish candle here and then this red bearish candle right here. It's nearly identical. I don't like how we're slanted to the right here. See on this one, we're more slanted to the upside. This one, we're more slanted to the downside. That's what I dislike about it. I do like how we're having a like break and retest, and this previous resistance right here is trying to react to support, it's trying to form a floor. I do like that. I just don't like the direction we're currently facing it on this one. But all I'm gonna say is, in terms of tomorrow, the play is gonna buy calls only if we gap up. So if we gap up, you can see right here next day we started to gap up. It had a very strong bullish day, breaking above the previous day highs. So this is going to be the main play I have for you in terms of the stock that I'm seeing. If we gap up and we are breaking above 142.30 and we're forming support there, it's going to shift the trend bullish for a nice break to 146 to 147. So if we gap up, likely going to have a bullish trend day. In terms of the make or break level to shift the trend bullish, we need to simply turn 142 to 142.50 into support. But like I said, if we gap up at least above like 142, I'm just going to likely be buying and calls on that. So that's the one stock play that I'm seeing. So if you use this information, especially what I provided to you, like I said, heading to tomorrow, that main play is going to be QQQ. You should have a phenomenal green day, man. It's going to be fairly fucking simple, man. Tomorrow's going to be a very simple day. Not a lot of levels. If you use those daily chart patterns with the information I've given you, along with the levels, with the pre-market, and then along with that one level, you should have a phenomenal day, man. Use the confirmations that I've been teaching you. Tomorrow should be a lot better than today, and focus on QQQ. Now, with that being said, if you are serious about trading alongside with us, it's going to be the first link down below. Within the description, you gain access to our real-time zero-day options trade alert system. In terms of what we're known doing differently is, we're known for holding our trades for the big percentage gains. We're known for holding for the bigger wins. And in terms of the zero-day option contracts, we're going further out of the money. Very, very cheap, very, very low risk. So cheap, so low risk, you can literally risk a small percentage of your account on the overall trade. And if the contract expire worthless go to zero, then that's the most you're going to lose is what you put in. So you can literally put in your entire position size as your max risk per trade. Therefore, if the trade goes to zero and expires worthless, right, doesn't work out, then the most you lose is what you risked, which is your max risk per trade. So we're taking smaller position sizes and we're letting the percentage gains do the big gains for us to compound the count percentage wise, along with to also make big dollar gains. What helps as well in terms of the dollar gains is adding to winners. We like to quickly add to winners. We set profit stops to ensure that we don't go green or red. If you set a profit stop, you get stopped out for a profit, you win. If you set a stop loss, you get stopped out for a loss, you lose. In terms of trading far out of the money zero-day options, especially if you're holding for the bigger wins, one of the worst ways to do it is to use a stop loss. A lot of the times you're going to be stopped out and then the play is going to recover and it's going to go in the money later on throughout the day. Another cutting edge part about trading far out of the money options is, in terms of the system, you don't need the stop losses, right? Entire position size is max risk per trade. Let it expire, go to zero, go to worthless, right? Most you lose max risk per trade. And you can hold the trade throughout the entire day and sell it in the money. So as long as you're on the right side of the overall trend and you're not going far enough where it doesn't go in the money, you're going to be making money and selling in the money. And we're known for holding for the bigger overall wins. We have the highest win rate in the game doing this. If you are serious about making money, now is the best time to be joining, man. I'm telling you, tomorrow you're gonna have a great day. It's gonna be a lot better than what it does than what happened today. But in terms of how I traded, I mean, I traded fairly well. On days like this, like I said, the people who get hurt the most on slow trend days like this are the ones who over trade and over position size themselves. If you know it's gonna be a shit and slow day, best thing you could really do is just walk away. Don't keep trying to poke the fucking bear. If it's shit, walk away, right? That's something that takes time to come with, and also take a lot of pain, a lot of loss and gains to come with. But me personally, I'm at the level where I have the awareness to recognize if it's going to be a slow overall day, and I have the discipline to not overtrade. Especially with our type of trading style, you can get burned very, very badly if you're over trading, man. Because part of this, you do need decent timing if you're going to want to trade these further out of the money option contracts, right? I mean, the timing doesn't have to be as well if you're having these massive moves, but if the moves are so fucking small like this, you're going to need near perfect timing, and you're going to need to have the perfect fucking strike. Obviously, you're going to have to go closer into money on days like these. But triple QQQ would have solved the vast majority of our problems at market open if we just went with that fucking one. So that's going to be my main focus heading into tomorrow. I'm going to be keeping an eye on a lot of stocks. But like I said, man, keep an eye on CAVA if we gap up. Got a couple stocks on my radar, SMCI. mRNA, this is an interesting setup, man. If you look at the daily chart, keep an eye on the daily chart on mRNA, man, on Moderna here. We're getting fairly low. This is a make or break previous resistance level, trying to react to support. I'm keeping a very close eye on this one for the Friday overall 0-day expirations, man. Keep an eye on NVIDIA. I'm telling you, man, we got some interesting plays setting up later into this week. So for those of you who are serious about making money, it's the first link down below in the description. You trade alongside us. You get access to all of our real-time trailers. You chat with us within the chat. We will see you tomorrow. We're going to absolutely crush it. With that being said, I'll see you guys within the chat. I'm going to be signing off here.